This guy. Thank you. Heavy. That's what I was going for. Hey, y'all. Morning. Finishing up AQ real quick, and then we'll head in. Nice, Brendan. That is exactly my focus today. Welcome, Mad Dog. I think I'm at like 45, so it should be doable for me to get there. Perfect. Got to 90 about 3 times. Yeah, that checks out. Congrats on getting over the line. Hey, somehow. Yeah, I'm doing well. Hopefully I continue doing well over the next half dozen or so matches. Okay, so there is one change I want to make. I want to swap in Jean. But I'm unsure who for. I haven't been using Negasonic a ton, so maybe that's the call. Negasonic's quite good, but we'll give this a go. Yeah, 45 at the moment. Okay, that's 4 net wins from here. Let's see. Hey, Brennan. Okay. Nice, Triple H. Congrats on that. Morning, Arctic. One down indeed. Thanks, Ivan. Mm-hmm. It'll be okay, y'all. Thanks, Bleezy. Picked it up last year, just going back to it for a little bit. Do I think the Kabam tag scares some people off? Depends. It probably has some effect. But bluntly, given that some of my colleagues further down the ladder are hoping it scares people off because they're not quite as active or on top of things, it could have the opposite impact on some. Hmm. Nice, Brennan. Eh. My deck isn't that big, Arun. Especially not compared to people who also have rank 4s. It's good, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. Nice, I'm glad you're liking Carolina. That's funny, Narc. Alright, I know Tiger can take her, but she'll lose a bit. What do you got for me? Checks out, because then they try and hit me with the Serpent follow-up. I think we just go spam and be careful with the block damage, play around the indestructible where we can. No, Nico was mine this month, not Carolina. Off to a great start with forgetting that Conflictor is part of this meta. I am so smart. Come on, thank you. Pity that evade doesn't last longer. I was hoping for a crit before we triggered the indestructible, but that's okay. Oh. So did they die? That's the question. They did. That was not great. Current in-game goal is to get rank 2s and ascended 6 stars out of my deck. Good luck. Yeah, I do think it makes a fair bit of difference. Hey, man. Thumbnails are hard, Pablo. I picked a style that worked for me and just accepted that it was lower production value than other people. That's fine. It's recognizable. I know they've got gentle, but I am fully leaning on the rank differences here. I was hoping to nullify the Fury. Sometimes that happens. Okay. Yeah, it was too late. Alright, not my best. But yeah, going back to Arctic's comment, I'm really glad you're enjoying her, but like that stuff specifically, yeah. Because I know she's good, but like the point of the design. Interesting. The point of the design was definitely to make playing with adrenaline fun, so I'm glad it's coming across well. 'To a point, Alex. Patriot will, against Science Champions, when duped, will bypass the block proficiency part of it, but he won't stop their attack from increasing. The thing to remember, Min, is that as the game continues to grow, and as I think we as a character design team have done a pretty good job reinforcing subsets of the meta. Because you ultimately have to pick 30 champions, you can't have an answer to everything all of the time. And I think Battlegrounds has overall gotten healthier because of that. It's kind of like as Magic the Gathering matured over time. Um, there are always going to be weak matchups for any given deck, right? Like, you can have an answer for these planeswalkers, you can have an answer for discard, you can have an answer for enchantments, but it's like, it's difficult for any one deck to have an answer for literally everything all of the other decks do. And I think we are approaching that kind of an era for Battlegrounds where it's like, yeah, if I had drafted Hood and Kushala in that first round, then Hulkling would have been nothing to me because I would have had 2 counters, right? But because I didn't, and then I didn't see a Mystic again after that, Hulkling was a problem. Because I didn't have an answer for both him and Serpent. And that kind of thing is just going to happen more and more, where there are so many defensive characters where it's like, yeah, they're not a problem. I have answers. Answers exist. There are multiple answers. I even have multiple answers in my deck. But some of those answers need to be reserved for other threats. And I'm not guaranteed to get extras every time, right? And so a lot of defenders that are solved, in quotes, aren't actually solved, right? They're not, oh, they're not worth it as a defender anymore. Unless your drafts just literally always go perfectly. And that's not true for most people. No, it doesn't, Arun, because it's also about deck construction, right? And it's drafting is absolutely a skill. I'm a big proponent of that, but there is still RNG. Like, there's deck construction in the first place so that your drafts go better, so that you see better, like a better distribution of options. There's the draft skill itself. There's the luck of who you see. And then there's the fact that we're getting to a point where your deck is just going to have weak matchups, right? There are going to be other decks where you line up really well and you feel like you have all the answers and they don't answer your stuff, and you're going to have the opposite. I can see Red Hulk absolutely because of the damage dealt part. Yeah, it's a very intentional thing we've been doing, Arctic. So I'm glad you were seeing it as well. Nah, we're not banning him. Rank 4 Deadpool X-Force is a fantastic thing to get rid of. No Juggernaut for you, and then probably Gentle? Rude. Glorious Gardens are subject to rebalance, yes. You're gonna have to offer some more elaboration there, Rhett, because there was a bug before she went out with Magneto, House of X, and Professor X on the team. But we explicitly fixed it, and I tested it and made sure that it was no longer that way. So I request elaboration. Thanks, Nartic. I never did make that Titan video, and at this point it's a week late, so it's probably not worth it. I have the footage. Yeah, let's pick up an armor champion. I've had some very good pulls from the Titan. No, Pablo. No. Let's test something. Whoops. Forgot I was unblockable. Dang it. Not bad. That's annoying. My bad. It's really gonna hurt. Okay, that can work. That can absolutely work. The coda actually works a little bit against you, which is interesting. Yeah, the neuro, her dupe is quite good. It would also mean that I could reliably parry stun. Yeah. Uh, which would make things easier. It is a neuro thing. Because when I tried to push her into pure light by hitting into her block, I wasn't hitting into her block. Yeah, sometimes she just doesn't play nice. Hmm. Well, that sucks. I think we lose this one. Yeah, Jean Grey was one of mine, Dojo. I specifically asked you to elaborate, Rhett. Just saying, no, it's definitely there is not elaborating. Can you please? Jesus. Thanks, Dojo. Yeah, they do reduce each other's damage, but we got specific tech in with Jean to make sure that the variable tracking her force field, rude, that the variable tracking her force field does still go down based on damage calculated before the force field reduction. That's kind of technical, but hopefully you'll follow me. Point is, her taking no damage doesn't stop her force field from going down. The only way that that would stop that is if the change we made got reverted after QA went through it somehow, which I don't know how that would happen. But that is why I am asking for elaboration. I don't need to just be told that it's bugged. Please give me as many details as you possibly can, because I need to try and figure out exactly what the issue is. I understand I'm coming in a little bit hot here, but like those of you who haven't been on the other side of bug reports before may not realize that, like, when people ask for, no, please provide a bunch of extra details, what's the device, what fight were you in, all those things that you think don't matter might, right? Because you're not the one who coded it and you won't know if they matter. So it is generally much better to just throw everything at the wall. Yes, I understand that she's not taking any damage, Callum. The point is, does her force field number still go down? Because that's the important part, right? That's what we tested. Okay, and you made sure you took a lot of damage. Alright, I will look into this, but... frustrating. When did I draft Spiral? Oh, God, it happened again. Whatever. Okay, well then, I'm no longer frustrated with any of y'all, but I'm extremely frustrated with this because there is like... there's nothing quite like a bug making it live that you did see coming and took steps to fix and confirmed that you had fixed, and then somehow it's not fixed. Dang it. I thought he had more power. Misjudged. Stupid. I'm getting tilted. Yeah, no, I remembered that as I accidentally clicked it a second time, Pablo. Like I heard you when you said that the first time, and I appreciate it. It's just weird because I also didn't see Spiral there until like the end. I don't know. That one seemed a little different. Imbalanced. Tried to launch it while dashing back, but I forgot you have to be blocking for that. That's both reassuring and extra frustrating, Nartik. Because, like, I don't think that Callum was lying to us. I also don't think Callum is an idiot, which means that there has to be some other factor that people haven't isolated yet, which is exactly why I asked for as many details as possible, and I don't frickin' know. We'll figure it out. Hey, everyone. That's... Sorry. That objective pop-up at the bottom is, like, the single most tilting thing in the game for me. Thanks, Aiden. How do you turn on victory shields? You have to tap on them before you start matchmaking. Thanks, Doctor. I appreciate it. Okay, I need to remind myself something. I'm not going to do this right now. Don't anybody get too excited. But I'll probably be doing this tomorrow or something. Okay, yeah, there's 2 of those. I have 0 right now. But that means I could have another. If I, excuse me, use Radiance, because I'm at 125 now? Yes. If I use Radiance on a rank 4, on a tier 7 basic, instead of the mastery point, and then I get the mastery point next time. And that's potentially worth it, depending on who I take up. Serpent is already Sig 200 and has good prestige. There's an argument that that's worth it. Thanks, Saffron. If I maxed out Shathra, she's very good prestige, but that would be my 4th Mystic rank 4, and I don't think that's wise. I could go Onslaught, but I think if I'm gonna try sigging up a mutant... What sig is my Onslaught? It's like 40 or something? Yeah. So I think if I'm gonna try sigging up a mutant, it's probably gonna be Jean, because she is, I think, like 10th or something. But then either way, that's my 3rd mutant. That kind of stings. Yeah, that's been reported a few times, Dojo. I think that should be in there somewhere. Because thinking just in terms of prestige in these 2 classes, Shocker's not that high. Even though a rank 4 Shocker is pretty sweet. And mine is already high Sig. Like, that's a decently low lift. Is he... He's not tactic coming up. Iron Man's pretty high. I don't think mine is that high sig here either. 80, and he'd have to go to rank 3 and then rank 4. I don't know. Y'all probably don't care about my prestige woes. Yelena, if I awakened her, and I do have a skill gem, but I had been saving that for Patriot, and she's still in the Titan. Which means I'm probably not going to do anything until I open that Titan Nexus at the end of Wheel of Fate. Okoye and Yelena would both make some sense. I'll keep agonizing over it. Future Ant-Man is not very high in prestige, no. He was a long time ago. I'm opening the thing, or our master doc right now. Actually, I'm not sure he was ever particularly high. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think this document was ever updated with... That's weird. Okay, I'm gonna have to poke that later. But yeah, future Ant-Man is down with, like, Karnak and Ghost Rider. Wait. No, he's not. Why is this... This is sorted wrong. When did that happen? Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, he's okay, but he is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th current tech by my count. He's next to Moondragon and Kushala, so he, like, wouldn't move my prestige at all. Yeah. Out of the characters I have and own, it needs to be like Onslaught, Yelena, Dark Phoenix. I could put stones into Quicksilver, but that makes me sad. Okoye, like I said, I already have Serpent. Maybe that's just the answer for now. If I pulled Prowler, he's an obvious one for tech. I do want to take Jean Grey up. I'll be thinking about it. Hey, Chris. I'm just thinking out loud about prestige as ad blocker interrupts me in the middle of my stream. I mean, sure, it's possible, Zephyr, your question about the Mutant Karina challenge, but that sounds like it would cost some things. Nice, Nick. Those are good rank 4s. Class balance stickler. I used to be more of a stickler. You know what makes it really, really difficult to be a stickler about class balance is when you start designing champions and you can't insist on them being balanced by class. And then when you don't get certain characters of your own. I do like Lumitrix, but I don't have like, again, that would be using my skill awakening gem. And using the skill awakening gem on neither Patriot nor Yelena would hurt a bit. Yeah. Reed Sig is really not that important, Nick. I mean, if you're saying you're saving Science Sigs for Reed, sure. I'm not. Definitely not. Nico's Prestige is fine, but not great. And that was kind of intentional. No updates yet on Patriot. As someone who's used Reed about as much as you possibly can, Nick, yes, once he is fully ramped in questing content, Reed loves those SIGs. By the time it comes online in war, which is where I still think he is best, the fight is usually fully under control and close to over. And so I feel very strongly that his SIG is overrated. It's good, but it is not a needs max SIG thing. And people always talk about him in those terms. Because as a reminder, this is the only thing that scales, right? Is the offensive combat power rate. And 50% offensive combat power rate is fantastic. But it's only once you get a careful study passive. And very often, those are actually a little bit tricky to ramp in war because you're shutting down the opponent's power so much. In the Realm of Legends challenge, where you intentionally let them fall off and bait special 2s and then bait special 1s and it turns into 100% combat power, yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. But, like I said, I think it's overrated. How's the new war map treating SSX? Fine. Yeah, it's coming along. I'm going to go ahead and buy this. And we will figure out Wheel of Fate sometime soon. But with that, I'm going to head to work and try and figure out what the heck is up with that gene synergy. Yelena is the best option in a vacuum, for sure, Carnage. Unfortunately, I am in an alliance and I care about my alliance. And my battle group already has like 4 rank 4 Yelenas. So that's the main hesitation there. But yeah, talk to y'all later. Have a good one.